join us.
It's showtime.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
You're not here, you missing out, because this show...
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, listen up. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
It's time for the Alliance Guys podcast.
What is up? It is time for the Alliance Guys podcast, a presentation of alliance-wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. My name is Jay Cal, and with me is my good friend and compadre, Mr. DKM. Mr. DKM, how are you today?
Surviving. How are you today?
I'm doing all right, man. It's been a good day for me. Did a little bit of the gym stuff, got some workout in. I went grocery shopping for a bit.
Well, it must be nice to have a perfect life.
I mean, it's far from perfect, but no complaints. I mean, what am I gonna do? Who's gonna listen? Nobody. That's who.
I'm sorry. What?
Nobody's gonna listen.
That's very true.
And your little pun there, not pun, but your little bit there wasn't wasted on me. I just was feeding into it.
I know. You did a good job. I'm impressed.
We got, first of all, the folks are entering the chat here on TikTok. They're not staying, though, but if you guys are in TikTok, make sure you join the conversation. I will reply to you guys. So we'll stop the entire show just to talk to you guys on TikTok, as well as our friends over here on YouTube and on Twitch. We've got Rosville's in the chat, Sean Mega's in the chat, and of course, the Millennial Noob is in the chat. Just want to say what's up to each and every one of you guys. Hope you're having an amazing Thursday, much like DKM is. And yeah, man, what's good?
Good.
I mean, I got to do an interview today. Someone actually wanted to interview me.
Somebody wanted to interview you.
Yeah.
Wow, they must be desperate. I mean, that must have been exciting.
Our friends from across the pond, the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast with Adam and our good friend Fiona.
Hi, Fee.
Fee, super sweet, and it was the first time I've spoken to Adam, so that was cool.
Well, that's cool. Did you tell him your life story?
Just the boring parts.
Did you tell him how, when you were a little kid, you always dreamed of growing up and having your own YouTube show that you broadcast across multiple social media platforms?
I told them that I've always wanted to be a broadcast journalist, and now that I am one, I feel no. I didn't tell him anything about that. No one cares. No one cares.
Hey, I'm making it up as I go here right now. So,
and I respect you for that, sir. But yeah, it's man, it's kind of fun when you talk to fellow NWA fans about the NWA, because there's a whole big world out there that aren't listening to what we talk about. There's a whole lot of people that don't care about the NWA, and that's okay. But we like to try to spread the gospel, if you will. And the one thing that both the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast and the Alliance guys can agree on is that, for the most part, the talent is there in the NWA, and we like the talent in the NWA. It's just some of the other things we don't care for. What's up, Shark Plays? What's going on? Michael Leshdog is in the chat. Welcome. And what I was telling them is, I'm very critical of me, and the Alliance guys are very critical of William Patrick Corgan and the way that the NWA is booked. But I don't think we have very many complaints about the talent. Was that something you would agree or disagree with?
I would agree.
In
fact, part of our complaints about William Patrick Corgan is that he's misusing what we consider to be good talent.
I completely agree with you on that. I wish that it was more I wish people could understand that. I think what's holding the NWA back right now is the person who saved it. Really, I mean, if we're being completely fruitful and honest and transparent, you think about where the NWA was at the end of the summer of 2017. Bruce was looking to get out of the NWA business. He was looking to sell. The trips to Japan had dried up. He was not able to continue pushing the NWA forward. And I believe honestly, if Billy Corgan didn't buy the NWA, I don't know if there would be an NWA right now to talk about. Yes, there were other people interested in purchasing the NWA. Our friend Billy Wood across the pond was interested in it. We know that there was a contingent from Alabama who was interested in purchasing it. However, nobody came to the demands that Bruce Tharpe had for the NWA. Nobody was willing to pony up the money that he wanted. And so for that, got to give credit where credit's due. Billy Corgan kept the NWA afloat.
Well, somebody needed to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm never a big fan of what ifs.
Sure.
There's so many things that, would change, A small example, you've been married twice. So let's say and you have children by both your wives.
Well, we only have one wife. We have an ex-wife and a wife.
Well, both the people you've been married to at various points in your life.
Let's go.
And so somebody might say, gee, what would happen if Jay had never married his first wife? Well, that changes so much. You may not currently be married to your current wife. You may not have any of the kids that you currently have. You may have a whole different set of kids. You might have a boys softball team.
No, I mean there is so much truth to that, and I mean that's a great point, because when I met Michelle, my wife, one of the things that I had to look for was somebody who'd be okay with helping to raise another child that wasn't theirs, and that changes your trajectory of potential relationships. You can't just go and meet any girl. You can't just date any girl, because you're looking for a different partner to help you, raise a family. And so you're right, 100% that it would change the dynamic for sure.
So anyway, that's just my thing when it comes to what ifs. It's very hard to say where the NWA would be, it might be a small promotion in Alabama right now. It might be UWN. It might, maybe Marquez would have found his way back into, I don't know.
That would have been best case scenario, but continue, sir.
Well, I'm just saying, you just don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Maybe we would have bought it because it wouldn't have been worth anything.
Well, I was just waiting for that one bad lawsuit against Tharpe, and then I'd have been in bankruptcy court. Honestly, today with the money that I have, and I don't have a whole lot, but some of the competitive offers that Tharpe had at that point before Billy came in, I could have matched those offers. It would have been expensive, it would have been hard, but I could have matched some of those offers that he had. So,
there was one offer I knew I could have matched, but
was that the 60,000?
No, there was someone who offered less.
Oh, I remember the 60,000, and I remember thinking man, how hard would it be to come up with $60,000? Now, obviously, my circumstances have changed quite significantly since that time, but I'm not saying 60,000 isn't nothing, but home equity alone would have bought the NWA. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, if I had tried, I could have come up with the financial backing for 60,000. But there was somebody who I think had offered 40.
Really?
Yeah, and I was not saying it was considered, but there was somebody who had offered.
I know Billy Wood. Look, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, and maybe I shouldn't say this. I don't know if it was said to me in secrecy or not, but I'm pretty sure Billy Wood offered $60,000, and that's where that number comes at from me. It's like, shit, $60,000, I could have done that. I mean, I didn't, but I could have,
Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, I can't swear by it, but I know he didn't offer much.
Yeah.
I've heard two different numbers as far as what Billy paid for it, because one was, I guess, the original offer, and then the other was supposedly when Tharp's, because Billy didn't originally want have anything to do with the Houston Library.
Yeah.
And supposedly Tharp came back and said, I got to get the money I spent on it back. And so supposedly that increased it by a significant amount from the original offer.
All right.
I mean, but if you double $1, it's only $2, but you doubled it.
That's fair. Hey, Jaden, welcome to the chat, sir. How is your Thursday?
I'm wolfing down a huge bowl of Rice Krispies at the moment, but it's good.
Rice Krispies. Gluten-free,
yes.
Those Rice Krispies.
Yes, gluten-free. The only cereal I recommend if you're on a diet, one of the very few. Not that I'm on a diet, I just have a bunch of it in my house.
I haven't been on a diet, or excuse me, I haven't been eating cereal in a very long time, probably over a year now, because I have been dieting and having some success with that. And one thing I don't eat is cereal. I haven't even, I've slowed down on my chip consumption too. Like, how long it's been since I've had a Dorito? I don't even know myself anymore. And damn, the next time I eat pizza is going to be my birthday in just about a month from now. So, sacrifices we make, gentlemen.
The existence of Doritos makes me think that there's a much larger chip called a Doro.
A Doro, yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to meet one.
Maybe it's an Exploro.
One of the funniest things that my daughter said when she was little is she used to love Dora the Explorer, and I would say, "Oh, Lily, you're adorable." It's just cheesy shit that dad says to their daughter. And then she goes, "Dad, you're Diego-able," because Dora's cousin was named Diego. And I thought that was the cleverest little thing for a little child to say to her father. Anyway.
The interesting thing was my kids were out of the Dora the Explorer phase by the time Diego showed up, so I kind of lucked out on that.
Oh, yeah.
Just be glad none of them are in the Caillou phase.
Oh, yeah. We didn't allow
they did go through the Caillou phase. I remember it.
We, in our household, we put a ban on shit like that. Like, no, we're not watching Caillou. Go find something else to watch. It was...
Caillou wasn't horrible. It was just...
He was insufferable.
He's a little shit.
The funny thing about it is that when I look back, probably all those phases were literally just months long. But the scars that I have make it seem like, they watched them for years. And it doesn't help that, for a lot of them, there are only like 10 episodes that they just showed over and over and over again. But,
Lily had her Dora. She loved Dora, and Dora was on forever. But there was all kinds of shows like Ni Hao Kai Lan, which was essentially just like Chinese Dora, and there was the Wonder Pets and the Backyardigans. And then the interesting thing is, those were for the oldest child, and the age difference was 8 years between my oldest and my middle child. And some of that stuff came back into our lives 8 years later. We're watching the Wonder Pets and the Backyardigans and singing the songs again, and watching what was the singing weird people, Yo Gabba Gabba, fun stuff.
I go to the classics personally. Sorry, DK, you go first.
Oh, I was going to say, luckily I never had the Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yo Gabba Gabba wasn't bad, actually. It was really cute. Most of it was cute, but go ahead.
I had 3 months of Teletubbies.
Oh, no thanks.
And the happiest thing in my life was that they never liked Barney.
Yeah. Yeah.
I go to the classics personally. I liked the Great Space Coaster, and of course Sesame Street, and Mr. Rogers. And I didn't watch the show myself because I was way too old. But one of my friends had a kid, and she watched this one show where there was this really hot train conductor, a Spanish girl.
I know what you're talking about. Yes, that was on. It wasn't an actual show. It was in between episodes on the Disney Channel. Oh
No, this was a show, I think. She danced a lot, and she was Spanish, and she was quite attractive and quite.
I know what you're talking of. Speaking of, because we watched that in my house too, and I was like, "Well, hey, let's leave this one on for a minute."
Yeah, I don't remember anything about it other than she grabbed my attention.
I missed all that.
I'm sorry, DK.
I got let me see, what did I have? I had Blue's Clues with Steve.
Had that.
Yes, but I had it with the original.
I had all 3 versions.
I had the original, and then I had when his brother came. And again, Blue's Clues was probably one of our longer shows. That one probably was a year.
Yeah.
And then let me see. Bob the Builder.
Yep.
I actually don't remember what it wasn't a show, but there were like DVDs and videos of something called like Roly Poly Oly.
Yes, yeah, that one too.
And so that would have holidays similar to our holidays, but they called them something different. So like instead of Valentine's Day, it was Happy Hearts Day, and
sounds like what Christians did to the pagans.
Yeah, kind of. And so I remember all that. The one thing I remember is there's only 18 and a half months in between my sons. So basically, the younger one, anytime the older one moved up, the younger one moved up with him. So as far as what type of show they were watching. So there came a point where like the younger one kind of felt like he was missing out, and he was older, but he went back and started watching younger kids shows because he wanted to watch cartoons and stuff like that. And one of the things he watched was Jaden the Dragon.
I'm suing.
What?
I'm suing.
Why are you suing?
Jaden the Dragon? Copyright. Trademark.
Jane and the Dragon.
Oh, I heard I said Jaden the Dragon, didn't you?
I did too, so you're not alone.
No. Yes, you did. Deal with it. So
Sorry,
anyway,
Lou. We're gonna wrap it up soon, Lou. Promise.
Probably. And then, and so then he watched it, and then he finally got tired of it. But I was still watching. Ooh, medieval knights, dragons. I like that.
It's like Jaden and the Dragon and the train conductor.
Yes. That's actually let's try to find that train conductor. Let's put her segments on. That'll help our ratings. But my niece used to love Zoobilee Zoo. And I didn't hate that because Ben Vereen was on that, and I always liked him as an actor. My niece and I were only about 6 years apart. My youngest niece and myself. Yeah. My oldest niece is actually 4 months older than I am.
We did watch Sabu,
the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal toddler show.
It was like the Kraft Brothers or something.
Zumafu or something like that.
The Boomafoo. That's what it was. The Boomafoo, wasn't it?
And they called him Sabu for short. Okay, I remember.
Wow. Real quick, I want to shout out Haley over on TikTok who just sent 20 goats. Haley, you're the goat. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Sorry, I didn't mean to kill the show, but like you got a game recognizes game.
Yeah.
Good friend Haley just dropped some goats on me, so I wanted to say thanks.
You mix you two together, you would be Haley J.
Talk about.
we'll talk about Haley Jane a little bit. She was on the show on the 77. Willie Bowen has a joke for us. Hi guys, Tyrus, when he takes a shower, it's Niagara Falls with an elephant scrub brush. Work on that one, Willie. You need to take that one back to the drawing board. I think there's potential there. You just
I like that one.
okay. DK's in. DK's
It worked
in.
better with one of those push brooms, giant push brooms. That
Wait, I
to use that the elephant. Yeah, that looked appropriate there. That's going to get you kicked off of TikTok. You're going to start getting eggplants on TikTok.
That's exactly why I stopped. Sometimes people will be like, "Hey, say my name. I'm going to do something." I'm like, "No, I'm not going to do anything." What's up, Double D? Double D's in the chat. What's going on, Double D? All right, so I'm going to give Jaden the option. He could choose your own adventure because he's the last one here. Should we talk about the 77th anniversary show and go over the results, or should we talk about this week's episode of Power?
I think we should say the 77 for the main event, but let's get through Power as quickly as possible in about 4 minutes.
Wait a minute, 77 or
Sanheim.
Oh, you're right. Salwin Part 3. I messed up. Sorry, Salwin Part 3.
Technically, we would be talking about the 77 if we talk about the Power, so that's two birds in one stone.
It is, absolutely. All right, well, let's get to the 77, which is that's the title of this week's episode of 7 Up, 7 Down. This was the first episode that emanated from the Paramount Theater in it was Long Island, New York, I think. Now I don't remember exactly where it was at, but this was the show that was filmed approximately 2 months ago. And had ramifications that we still haven't realized here on NWA Power because, again, the delay from tape to Roku has been astronomically long and difficult to deal with. But this was a pretty good night of wrestling, and I'm going to start off by saying new intro, like it. It was interesting. You could even see our old friend El Hijo de Milk Mascaras in the crowd. Especially it happened when Smalls got booted in the face by Trevor Murdoch, so that was great.
Did I jump? I missed that.
No, it's very faint to see, and you would have seen me too, but unfortunately, the photographer who kept getting in my view the entire night was also in my view during the shot. Very disheartening.
I wonder if they did that on purpose. It's called us hey, block J Cal. He's a ham sandwich jabroni.
We know this guy is totally going to film the show, too. We know he's going to put up the Natty Neihart match, so block him as much as you can so that nobody can see it.
Yes.
Anyway, so the show kicks off when we get Alex Taylor defending the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship against Rich Swann. Now, Rich Swann, he's been in the NWA for just a micro minute. He made his appearance on the Tampa TV tapings. He won a match against our friend Alex Misery, who was in the chat a few minutes ago, to become the number one contender. And I appreciate the NWA doing that. I do appreciate the NWA giving us at least a number one contenders match instead of just putting a big name into a title match. I don't like that. But having Rich Swann appear on the show, I mean, Swann is super talented. And it also means that we also have 4 weeks before we'll see Thrillbilly challenge for the World's Heavyweight Championship. So, in November, we'll see Thrillbilly win the World's Heavyweight title. Joe Galley kind of keys us in that they're going to start referring to the Junior Heavyweight title as the Hodge, which I kind of like it. I was calling that title the Royal Crown title because it looks like the Royal. That was, I think, the name of that championship was the Royal Crown back in the day when it was the World's Heavyweight Championship. Say that again.
It was called the Crown Jewel, but you can't use that name now.
Oh, fair enough. We did get to see. They did mention that Alex Taylor did defend the title in the UK. They mentioned some sort of obscene number, like 65 title defenses, and I'm like, that okay. We all know that's not even true. I can appreciate them trying to put over Alex Taylor, but I also hate hyperbole, and I prefer them to just, let's be honest, let's talk about what it is. If it's 10 title defenses, that's still awesome for an independent wrestling promotion like the NWA.
Was that like Goldberg's undefeated streak?
Yeah, I just feel like Goldberg sneezed on somebody, they fell over and gave him a win for that. Taylor, he's might have wrestled 65 times since winning the title. I don't think he's defended that junior heavyweight title 10 or 65 times. So, anyways, I really did like the match. There was a couple really cool spots. Swan is kind of like the epitome of what I like in pro wrestling, which I know isn't exactly what you guys like in pro wrestling. I do love the flippy dippy. I do love the like there was a part where Alex Taylor did a back body drop and Swan like did like a 450 onto his face. It was pretty awesome. I was like, that was cool. Like, of course, it just made Taylor look like more of a badass, but I thought that was an awesome sequence. And Swan did fly in the ring, but ultimately the victory went to Alex Taylor. He keeps the belt. He is both currently the U.S. Tag Team Champion and still the World Junior Heavyweight Champion. Very impressive win for Alex Taylor. So, DK, did you watch the match, and did you have any thoughts on it?
I did watch the match, and I do have thoughts about it.
Would you like to share those?
Oh, is that what you're after? Yeah. While I'm not a fan of the flippy dippy stuff, I will say this about Rich Swann: he's very good at it.
There you go.
And he's very smooth at it, which helps. I thought it was a good match. I thought it was probably one of the best Alex Taylor matches that there's been. Alex Taylor's a talented guy. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from him as far as an in-ring talent.
Yeah.
And anybody who can survive that one fall he took and hit the rope, and we all thought he died. It's a tough guy. So it was missing something that all the other matches were missing, which is sloppiness. It was a very well-worked match. And so overall, for an opening match, to get your crowd excited and to get it going, so to speak, I would say that, it was well worked. Alex Taylor looked good. Swan looked good. And I hate the idea of them calling it the Hodge.
You hate that idea. That surprises me. Well, can I ask why?
Yeah, because that's not the belt that Hodge used.
Oh, that's a perfectly good explanation.
I mean, the reason we called the Burke is because that was her belt. It's basically, they basically redesigned her belt.
Yeah.
And then somehow Billy ended up buying the original, I think. I think he owns it.
Yeah, I've heard he does.
Well, he brought it out, and I'm pretty sure they said he bought it. So, or he ended up with it. And so, that's how that one kind of got its name. So, to call the Hodge when that's not the belt he used, is kind of weird to me.
You know what?
It's kind of like putting Nature Boy Buddy Rogers' initials on the junior heavyweight belt because he wrestled at the weight at the current level, the current weight limit is. Okay.
That makes a lot of sense. We don't say that the belt that Dory Funk Jr. held, that wasn't the 10 pounds of gold. That was a different championship belt. Luthez didn't hold the 10 pounds of gold. What you're saying makes a lot of sense and resonates with me. I appreciate that. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, DK, or can we let Jaden talk?
No, we can let Jaden talk.
I enjoyed the match. Sometimes I was saying one thing I was realizing and made me think about when Rich Swann did his entrance reminds me of the Human Tornado a lot.
Yes. Okay. I totally thought that too, and I was like, "Am I missing something? Is this what Rich Swann always does?" Because it very much felt like the Human Tornado.
And he wrestled a lot more like a more fluid, more crisp version of the Human Tornado too in this match. But here's the thing though, I don't mind a flippy guy if he's with a guy who's not necessarily flippy,
Yeah.
and they can mix the flip with that. Also, I don't mind the flippy high spot is if you can do one and then let it absorb and slow down afterwards and the fans appreciate it, let it absorb, let them remember it. And he was a little bit better at that than his normally is in this match. And I think I actually claim I'm going to give Taylor credit on that one.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I enjoyed the match. I thought it was a good match. Somebody with a star power. He didn't look that much bigger than Alex Taylor, and Alex Taylor looked kind of jacked, actually.
Yeah, he
for
looked
a
great.
guy like that. So I think aesthetically it was a good match. Both the in-ring quality was a good match. Again, just like DK said, it wasn't sloppy. There wasn't a lot of awkwardness. And sometimes awkwardness makes it look real, and then there's also awkwardness that makes it look like somebody didn't follow what was going on when they called it in the back, and that's what a lot of awkwardness is for the NWA, in my opinion.
Yeah, which we see a lot of in the tag team elimination.
Yeah. But again, I enjoyed it, and I think it's a good first match, I think, for this segment of NWA. If somebody who's just now started watching it, that'll be a match that'll grab their attention between star power and athleticism.
One of the things that I really appreciated about Joe Galli's commentary on this one, too, is that he kept saying, like, hey guys, thanks for joining us if this is your first time watching. And he gave you a little bit of the backstory. Like, he's currently the U.S. champion and the World Junior Heavyweight champion. And, again, I don't know why they bring the U.S. titles onto Power, considering that they're not considered a Power title, but a territory title. It should be left on the territories, or anyone who has a territory title should be bringing it to Power. You should do one or the other, but not both. But I liked how they kept resetting things. So for somebody who did just tune in for their first time, they kind of got caught up to speed for most things. I thought that was pretty cool.
Speaking of commentary, I was the best the commentary's been since I've been rewatching the NWA on Roku. This match.
Oh. Yeah. Well, I wonder why.
It just felt like addition by subtraction.
Yeah. I can appreciate that. Real quick, shout out to my pal WrestleRant over on TikTok who just sent over the golden boxing gloves. Thank you, WrestleRant. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the love. Always good to talk NWA wrestling with my pal WrestleRant. We ready to move on?
Yes.
Next up, we get the promo by Mike Mondo, and it was kind of an interesting set of promos that they did this week because they were walking like on the boardwalk, or I don't think it was the actual boardwalk, but they were walking, and it's the second time they did it because later they do it with Tiffany Nieves as well. And Mondo looks incredible. One of his better promos in the NWA. He's not in the back. He's not in the video game place talking to some dweeb. He's literally talking to the camera, cutting a promo how he's coming for Mims. And again, I feel like this was a good time to drop this promo because the match is going to happen, next week or 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. One of the problems that I had is that they would do these in-ring, they would do these promos before a match, and then the match would happen on the same card. I don't feel like that was a good way to build for it. So we got, we had this opportunity to hear Mondo talk about Mims and the national title, and it's a good way to build up towards that match. Because again, the last time we saw Mondo, he was either Mondo and Slade took out Pope a couple weeks ago, or Mondo teamed with Slade to win a tag team match. So it's, to me, like that was a cool way to go about it and get Mondo in front of the camera and kind of tell the audience, hey, this is where the national title is going to be heading to a matchup with Mims. So I like that. Jaden, what did you think of Mondo's promo?
It was okay. Mondo is much better in the ring than he is on the mic.
For sure. And that's why I think it was Stevens, but go ahead.
Yeah, but I did like it comparatively to some of the other stuff he's been doing. I still like his, what about me? What about Mondo? But that's beside the point. He looks like a star, though. He looks like somebody who's a wrestler. I also, to go back, I actually like the aesthetic of the building, too.
Yes.
If they can go back there and actually draw better, I think they should, because the building looked great on television.
It did. I agree.
And the outside, I guess that's like the river. I don't know what's Long Island have. I don't like New York, so I try to avoid it. But I get the way it looked like too. It was different. It wasn't the stupid comic shop or video game shop or place where they do rating of wills or anything like that. I actually liked it. I thought this was better. Unfortunately, there was some stuff later that I didn't like, but that's different. We'll ignore that.
We'll get to that in a little bit. DK, did you have anything you want added to the promo?
No, I thought it was a fine promo that, did set up the idea of him going for the national title. Like you said, with enough ahead that it's not just, oh, here's Mondo saying he wants to challenge for the national title. Hey, look, here's Mondo challenging for the national title in the very next segment. And so, it was something. There's still some disconnect between what the tapings we just saw and this.
Mm-hmm.
But it at least, I think it worked in the sense that it gave us a reason to want to tune into a future episode.
And I think the other part of it too is again planting the seeds and giving us. I feel like they're hearing us. Like maybe they're not listening directly, but our voices are being heard by somebody because we had a lot less goofy ass stuff happening on this episode. And I think it's going to be like, well, who shot JR? Like who was supposed to inherit that money? I don't think we'll ever have the answer to it. At least I hope we don't. I hope they just dropped it. We don't hear about it again.
Needless to say, by the way, I don't know who won it, but I am. My house is going to start looking like the Thundercats lair now.
Oh, did you win the lottery?
No, I just happened to just stopped at the lawyer's house, and no, I don't know what happened.
So then we get the next match of the night, and again, you mentioned it being like a cluster, or maybe DK said it. I also agree. This match I want to like everything that the NWA is and does, but this is one that I'm going to be honest. I didn't like this match. First of all, why are we doing a 4 corners match to crown the number 1 contender anyways? Like, couldn't we do this a little bit better, a little bit differently? Furthermore, every team in this 4 corners elimination match was a heel tag team. There were no baby faces in this. And I get that maybe sometimes you don't have enough talent available to work certain ways, but we saw the Slime Balls who looked face for the first part of the Crockett Cup and then end up being heels on the way out, and then the promos that they cut during it definitely solidified them as a heel tag team. You have Blunt Force Trauma, who we haven't seen on TV for a while. They've been heels. Then you have Austin Idol's group, the Nightmare Syndicate, or Nightmare Sin, I guess is what he's calling it. And these two buffoons just don't do much of anything for anyone. And then lastly, we have the Colognes, who, again, they were heels throughout the Crockett Cup. And I was happy to see these guys back in the NWA. But again, 4 heels in a match, like you already made it hard for the fans to root for a team because they're all heel. The next thing is, the match itself as a 4-way didn't last very long. Blunt Force Trauma eliminated Idol's group pretty quickly, and almost instantaneously, once they were eliminated, Aaron Stevens uses his loaded glove, and I think it was Damage. He punches Damage, knocks him out so that the Slime Balls get the easy victory. It was like the biggest swerve, turn on your guys without any momentum at all. It just happened like that. And then there was no comeuppance for Stevens. Like, I'm sorry, if you hit my tag team partner and you cost me the match, why didn't Carnage go beat the shit out of Aaron Stevens? It didn't make sense from a booking standpoint. You cost the tag team the titles, and then they didn't even go and take Stevens to the back and whoop him. Like, that didn't make any sense to me at all. So the match very quickly became the Colognes versus the Slime Balls under the tutelage of Aaron Stevens. And the match was okay, but I feel like the Slime Balls aren't there yet. They're going to need some time. And the colognes looked really good. I think the colognes looked better in this match than they did throughout the Crockett Cup in terms of how they wrestled, how crisp they were. But everything leading up to that, I just almost had no interest in it because there was nothing to root for. There was no one to cheer for. And in overall, like, the story just didn't make a lot of sense to me. DK, tell me, what did you think about this match? You said this was the sloppy one. So what was sloppy about it?
There were just a lot of blown spots, and the one that just stands out in my mind that anybody who watches the show probably remembers is when they're whipping the little slime ball into the rope.
Sage.
Yeah, sure. And if we burn him, do the evil spirits go away?
Maybe, perhaps.
Anyway.
Won't let you try.
So anyway, they whip him into the ropes. The cologne goes for a drop kick. He's ducked down, tripping. I don't really know why. Missed by a mile. And then get up and act. I mean, he missed so bad, even commentary had to say it missed. And then finally they get, they get up and act like nothing happened. The Cologne's not selling missing a drop kick. Sage isn't selling that he got hit by a drop kick, probably because he didn't.
Yeah.
And it was like nobody knew where they were, what they were supposed to be doing. And there were just incidents like that throughout the entire thing. Blunt force trauma did not look good. And it seems, I don't know what they do at the taping that earns them the world title shot that they had, but I have to believe that their time is over.
Yeah.
That it needs to be over. They need to go away. Maybe Rodney Mack and Marche Rocket can come and take their place, so they have even in and out, but of talent, but not as a tag team, just as individual wrestlers. But it's time that this kind of ends.
You're saying the experiment is over?
Well, I mean, I think they had a good run.
Yeah, they did. I wouldn't argue with you.
I mean, and I've said many times, they had a much better run than the two guys under the mask would have had without them.
This is true.
And so, I mean, I think they did what they needed to do with them. I think they're there. They don't have, I mean, I suppose you could do an angle where you unmask them, but you don't need to.
I would not.
Just take off their mask and use them as talent. And, Rodney Mack is getting up there in age, kind of like Tim Storm. He's not having his best matches anymore, but, I get some people like to tell me, but they can still go. So, maybe he can still go, but he's not having his best matches anymore. And he's better as a agent, trainer, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, maybe he needs to move to that. I don't understand the purpose of Austin Idol, Scion, and Frank. And boy, talk about blowing it with Frank. Judias goes away. Judias is a little bit soft in the middle. Big guy, but a little bit soft in the middle. Hasn't been used well. They send him out. Frank comes in. Frank's obviously been working out. Frank's in better shape. Frank really has the monster thing going. They have him squash their hero Max. And they put him in tag teams where he's lost ever since.
Yeah.
I don't understand what they're doing. I don't understand what the purpose of these guys are anymore other than to be enhancement talent, I guess. But if they're going to be enhancement talent, stop putting them in matches that are important.
No, I think that's fair. I think you're probably. Well, yeah. Let's hear what Jaden has to say. I'm sorry, Jaden. What were your thoughts on this one?
I pretty much agree with DK. It was nothing I enjoyed. I also think there's way too many people wearing T-shirts in the match. I don't. Maybe one wrestler on the card could wear a T-shirt, but everybody else should not. And if you're not in shape enough to get away with it, then go away, learn a new hold, and come back in shape. And then Billy will not push you and put you in a tag match nobody cares about.
Yeah, that's true too. That happens.
But the only thing is, while the clones look better, I still think it would have been a good opportunity to turn the Slime Ball's face and had them go over. But of course, they do the counterproductive thing and put them with Aaron Stevens and make them his new tag team now. And why would you go from Blunt Force Trauma to the Slime Balls? It's kind of like going from the Powers of Pain to the Jive Tones for old school pro wrestling fans.
Sure.
You know, it's or when Mr. Fuji, nothing personal against the wrestlers I'm about to mention, but when Mr. Fuji went from Demolition to Powers of Pain to the Orient Express.
You don't like Pat Tanaka?
I love Pat Tanaka, but 3 Pat Tanakas didn't equal 1 Warlord.
Wow.
I mean, weight-wise alone, and I'm talking about muscle and weight. I'm not talking about talent. Pat Tanaka had more talent than both Powers of Pain together, and the Barbarian was really good. But he was much smaller than everybody on the roster, and especially again, I'm a big fan of Bad Company. They were a great tag team, but when Kato came, they never treated the Orient Express seriously after that again, and that's what it's kind of going like. You got a much smaller tag team that nobody's going to treat seriously.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it looks like. And like I've said this before, Sage from the Slime Balls really does remind me of a young Johnny Yuma when him and Johnny Goodtime would team up as the Rock Nest Monsters. But I also don't think that the Rock Nest Monsters would have thrived in this NWA environment when you got some of the former world champions that are 6'4", 300 pounds. What is a guy who's 5'6" and 180 pounds soaking wet going to do to a guy that's a foot taller and 100 pounds heavier? It just it doesn't pass the sniff test, So
I do think it could have worked if the Slime Balls were baby faces.
Sure.
The young baby faces coming back, fighting from against the Giants, overcoming all odds. David versus Goliath, the original book storyline that DK saw in person. But not as a heel. Their potential is not as a heel tag team. They're not the Nasty Boys. They should be like just a good popular babyface tag team. It's where I see the money goes. And support the stream and buy that shirt.
Yeah. We're just checking out the features here. Real quick, shout out to James Dennis, who's just joined us on TikTok. What's going on, James? Hope you're having a good Thursday. We are talking NWA. We're talking NWA Power. You can watch NWA Power every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific on Roku Sports, where it is 52 weeks of new content. That's the one thing you can celebrate the NWA is doing, is that there is new episodes every week. There was a point in time where they weren't producing new episodes every week. So I guess we should kind of celebrate that a little bit. Getting to the chat real quick here on YouTube, Vincent Verb X Patterson, who used to be on, you come join the show quite a bit. I don't know if you've been watching from a distance, but welcome back anyways. He says, hey, any truth to Vince Russo is writing for the NWA? Sorry if someone else asked this. That is a very interesting question that was also posed to me by a friend of mine who used to watch NWA Power when it was on YouTube, has kind of fallen off the NWA experience, from CW and X and now on Roku. And Jaden, I don't think Billy Corgan would give up any kind of creative to anybody, let alone Vince Russo. He could do bad all on his own. What are your thoughts? Is Vince Russo somehow involved in the NWA?
I honestly would rather Vince Russo be involved in the witness protection program.
Yeah.
But Yeah, God, no. It's just all. This is Billy's own design. This is a person who is really good at playing music and thought because he did it his own way and got over playing music that he could do the same as a booker. The difference is he was an actually talented musician. He's not a talented booker.
I think that's 100%. I agree with you on saying that. Sean Mega said Conan had a clickbait title and people fell for it. It's. I mean, think of it this way: if Billy Corgan had money to hire Vince Russo, because look, Vince Russo isn't working for free. Even though I wouldn't hire him, he's not going to work for free. Nobody is, and Billy's not spending money on ancillary things that he does not need. You need guys to wrestle in the ring. You need cameras to record the matches. You need a team to produce and direct it, but you don't need somebody who's has bad creative. Again, Billy can do that on his own. So yeah, I again, this match was just I wasn't super excited about it, and I wasn't I didn't love the match, and I think nobody did. Let's get to the next segment, which was the Pope promo. And this was the Pope coming out acknowledging that Slade and Mondo attacked him a couple weeks ago, but didn't have a plan for any comeuppance for those two gentlemen. And then, without really even discussing that, brings up Mims. But again, wasn't calling for a rematch or a bout with Mims. No, he declared that he's going to go after the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. He declared that was his destiny. Jaden, he said it was his destiny. Is the Pope destined to be World's Heavyweight Champion? And did you like this promo or dislike it?
I like the promo. I don't think he's destined. I think he's the future challenger for somebody. So the one thing you never want to be is the first challenger to a championship because nobody believes you have any chance to win.
That's true.
Especially unless it's just a transitional championship reign or something like that. So if you have a serious champion who looks like they're going to hold it for a while, nobody believes the first couple challengers, especially the very first one. So I think that's what it is. Pope's just a guy for a champion to beat. Assuming, well, we already know it's Throw Belly, so it's just but it's a good idea. It's a good win. It's somebody that two people that can talk. Imagine the promo wars.
Oh God, I'm actually dreaming of that. I would love to see that. DK, what did you think about Pope's promo?
I mean, I thought the overall promo was good. Just, Pope has a way of working a crowd up, much like Throwbilly, and so you certainly get into anything he has to say. But I guess the only thing that knowing what happens at Salwin, Samhain, Bob's your uncle. The only thing that knowing what happened there has done is now I'm very curious of everything that happens at the TV taping.
Same.
I mean, like, since the Cologne challenge at the next Signature Live event, did they get their title shot during the tapings? Did something happen with Pope during the tapings? Because as far as I know, he wasn't at Salwin.
Where'd you go, DK?
Hear me?
Mic cut out on you. Well, I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. Bad mic. So anyway, my point is there's just...
It reminds me of when the comedian started tapping the mic and the mic started talking to him because the guy was a ventriloquist.
I don't know this, but that would have been hilarious.
I'll have to find that clip for you. Yeah, the guy's a ventriloquist and he starts talking to the mic and the mic starts talking back to him and complains that he beat him.
Okay, send that to us because I want to see it too. But yeah, I mean, I don't. So far, that's only because there are things that take place at Salwin that we're going to have to wait and see what the hell happened at TV taping. Which, by the way, this doesn't mean good things happen. It just means we got to see what some of the explanations are for some of the things.
This is true. Real quick, Sean Mega in the chat says, have they announced a new taping? I hope not. So far, no. So far, there's nothing to indicate that they're going to have another TV taping before the end of the year. I mean, they could. We are quietly walking towards the end of October, and we have 2 more months left to the end of the year, which is diabolical for me saying it, but that is true. Like we're running out of time. I don't know that the NWA has enough time to put together another event without promoting it at least a couple months in advance. So I don't think there is going to be another taping before the end of the year, which to me is a good sign that, hey, let's get caught up on these shows so we're not 2 months behind in 2026. Let's get back to doing, events where it's not that bad. We lost DK, but now we're bringing them back. All right. So let's talk more about the rest of Power. The next segment, we go back to the Henry household, I believe somewhere in Cedarville, Tennessee, where Tommy and his little baby girl, Kenzie Page, are talking to Joe Galley with the Burke in her lap. And very obvious, the camera catches early on back in the backyard. I think I said Hunter and Kylie sitting poolside. It was hinted at, it was teased at a couple seasons ago that there might have been some shenanigans going on between baby Kylie and Hunter. Maybe I shouldn't call her baby Kylie because that makes it weird. Hunter and Kylie kind of talking poolside, sitting very close to each other. And although Joe Galley's asking some pretty credible questions to Kenzie and Father Tommy, it seems like the camera is focused more on what's happening behind them, which ignites Kenzie into a fueled rage of blaming Kylie for Markova getting this opportunity for the title and saying that she would expect that from her fiance, Hunter, but not from her baby sister, who's always there for the reward, never there for the work. And I just kind of have to think, like, man, what did we do to deserve this kind of content on Power? Like, you guys used to hate Josephus so much, but I bet you'd rather see Josephus than this kind of slop. Jaden, Tell me if I'm wrong or not.
You're wrong. I'd rather see none of it. I don't want to see any of it. It doesn't.
Gun to your head.
Blindness. I'll pick not to watch Power anymore again.
That's fair.
That's what I would choose. But and I often think about it all the time when I have to watch this garbage. TV time should be something special. It should be everything on TV should be to make money. Maybe Kylie versus Kenzie can make money, but the rest of that just needs to go start being left in the pool with no life preserver.
DK, what did you think about this segment?
Well, I didn't watch it directly. It was on in the background while I was looking up something on the internet. And I really have no idea what happened until Kenzie started screaming, because I heard that. And so I looked over and, kind of listened to her scream for a while and thought, damn, this is stupid. And then I went back to trying to figure out what some of the differences were between the System 360 and the System 370.
Real quick, chat, wrong answers only. What was DKM researching while this promo was going on? We'll get back to those comments momentarily.
Oh, by the way, I just told you what I was researching, so let's see if you guys know what that means.
Well, of course I don't know what it means. I am not a tech guy. You know I'm not a tech guy because we had website issues last Saturday night, and it just fixed itself. I didn't do anything. It just fixed itself.
It may have been the beginning of all that hacking and stuff that's going on and cyber attacks that are going on
with the AWS. Yeah, that messed up. That's why the other Alliance guys weren't on last week, because Monday we didn't have we couldn't get on the streaming software, was not able to function correctly. So Yeah, that could have been it. That might have been a telltale sign of that. Next up,
Anonymous, real quick, in case you're listening, can you please hack the NWA's database and get rid of all those stupid segments so they don't show up on TV? It will be
Fair
my
enough.
hero.
Yeah, that I don't hate that idea. All right. Next up, we have the no time limit TV title match. I wish this was kind of just the norm, and I wish it wasn't a special deal. Like, I think the time has come and the time is gone. Real quick, Double D says DK was searching for what Jaden's real face looks like.
I think
Have you-
DK's seen me.
Yeah, I think he's seen. I don't know. Has Jaden have DK? Have you ever seen Jaden's face?
multiple times.
All right. I've seen them both. I've been to their homes. I know where they live. That's not a threat. That's
Geez, what are you becoming, Alex? I mean, what are you becoming, Alex Misery all of a sudden?
yeah. That kind of came out. And I was like, wait, I don't like how that sounded. I don't like the picture that I just painted.
Eyeball.
Yeah, right.
Jaden made the mistake one time of doing a podcast as Jaden. And,
Well, that's not going to do it as.
well, but I can't remember if it was like a studio or what, but you were actually like there, and so we got to see you.
Hey, if you go back in the old days, you could see him managing wrestlers. One of my favorite was when he managed Patch. The problems they used to cause down in up and down the coast, New Jersey, back in the day.
Patch, managed Dirty Money, managed 1 in a Million, former NWA North Jersey Tag Team Champions. Actually, New Jersey Tag Team Champions.
1 in a Million, I think, is who you were managing when we first became acquaintances back in the day.
Yes.
And people thought you were also black because you managed 2 guys who were black.
What are you saying, Deke? What are you saying, man?
I'm just saying people made assumptions about you based on who you managed.
I'm from Africa.
So is Hakeem the Dream.
Exactly.
I'm from Africa. Don't you want to know what part?
South Africa?
Exactly.
Who's that famous actress from South Africa? What's her name?
Charlize Theron?
Yeah, that's the one. All right. So we
Colonel
get
De
to
Beers?
What did you say?
Colonel De Beers?
No, we won't be talking about Colonel De Beers. No, thank you. I like
the Simpson brothers?
Oh, you remember those guys?
Yeah, they were from South Africa.
When I first saw them, I gotta remember. You gotta admit, I have to insist that you give me some leeway because they were younger. I was young. I was probably like 7 or 8 years old the first time I saw those guys. And I thought they were related to the Von Erichs. I'm like, why do they look so much different than the other Von Erich boys? I didn't understand. So please forgive me.
They're actually second generation wrestlers. And so was, I can't think of him now. He was in the WWE. He was part of the Nexus. Who?
Sam Houston. Oh, you're PJ Black.
PJ Black, yeah, but what was his other name? I can't remember it in WWE, but yeah.
I thought it was PJ Black.
No, PJ Black was his indie name, wasn't it?
Well, now I'm going to have to look it up.
But either way, he was also from South Africa.
Yes.
And he was also a second generation wrestler, I believe, too.
Yes. Justin Gabriel.
Yeah, that's it.
That was a guy that I thought should have been in the NWA back in the day when they first started. All right. So we get this no time limit Idol versus Ocasio match. Both of these guys are native of the area, the Long Island area. God, I don't like watching Brian Idol wrestle. I feel like he thinks he is a bigger deal than he is. I could be wrong, but that's what I felt like. And in this match, I really wanted to see Ocasio bloody him up. It was the fact of the matter is the match was pretty good. What killed me, and we'll talk about this next, is during the middle of the main event, they interrupt the match to do 2 more, or actually like 3 more promos. And I don't understand the rationale behind this. I don't understand why anyone would think it's a good idea to interrupt a live wrestling match so that you could show me promos. Like if there was something late breaking happening, like a wrestler was getting attacked in the back and you wanted to cut the cameras to that, okay, I get that. But just to show me a promo, and especially these promos, I just felt was in bad taste and not a good idea. Actually, I think it might have been 4 promos. No, 3 promos. The first up, we get the Holy Grail in the back, and they're talking about how they're preparing for Stevens and Drake. Now, again, this match, they were initially our boys, the Holy Grail, PB Smooth and EC3 with Pastor CeeLo, were originally scheduled to face the Immortals at this pay-per-view. That was the card that was announced. However, that matchup was changed, and we're getting a preview that the Holy Grail will be taking on Stevens and Drake. And again, a promo like this, it doesn't carry weight for me when you interrupted a match for it. If this would have been just, a commercial break, coming back from a commercial break, I've been fine with it. But the fact that you interrupted a match for this just made me dislike it even more. And then we have Hammerstone, who's all riled up because his debut at the at the ECW arena for the NWA, challenging Thrillbilly Silas Mason, was interrupted between the Southern Six interfering, even after he got Mason up for the what does he call it? The hammer. What does he call that move?
The Nightmare Pendulum.
Nightmare Pendulum. I don't know where I was going with that. He was ticked off, and one of the guys that caused it was Kerry Morton. So next week, Hammerstone is gonna go after Kerry Morton as a comeuppance for his attack at the Crockett Cup. And then we get Tiffany Nieves, who is doing this phenomenal promo, just hyping herself up, talking all the big game. She looked incredible. Like, she looked great. And again, walking down, I think it's like
Probably Long Beach Island.
Yeah, just walking down the pier or whatever it was. Looked great. It was phenomenal. And then she sees a woman who we find out is named Greta, who's a fan of wrestling. She's wearing an FTW shirt, so I'm assuming she's coming from Brian Idle's school down in Florida. And she said she's a fan, and Tiffany Nieves says, "Thank you so much for being a fan. I can't believe what you're going to do for me." That was kind of weird. I liked where the promo was going in the beginning. I didn't like where it finished. I'm going to ask you first and foremost, DKM, did you watch these and what did you think?
The only one I watched was the Tiffany one.
Yeah.
And not so much intentionally. It's not like I was fast forwarding and stopped. There's Tiffany. It was more like I'd been out of the room, and when I walked back in, there was Tiffany. And so, kind of like you said at first, I was like, well, this is pretty good. Her walking, talking about her 2 titles, has her 2 titles, everything. I go, well, she's doing something to get herself over. And then when she freaked out, like she found, $100 bill on the sidewalk and called Greta over. And I remember somebody saying, that, oh, there's a new person there, for Tiffany. It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
And they show her, and I'm just like going, I don't like where this is going in terms of the interview, because Tiffany's acting a fool. And I don't like where this is going in terms of storyline, because I really don't think that, unless they split and it's just going to be Tiffany and Greta, I really don't think we need Tiffany and her tag team partner and a manager and hired muscle and everything. It's just like, it's getting too convoluted.
Well,
And so it was kind of like, this is stupid. And then I was like with you, of course, it's stupid that they interrupt the match to show us this.
Yeah.
And again, I go back to Billy going, well, this is what the big people do. They interrupt their matches. And it's like, yeah, stop. Don't do that. It's stupid. So I mean, nothing got me excited because I didn't see the first two, and the one ended was incredibly stupid.
Yeah. So I got to ask Jaden, did you watch these and what did you think?
I actually got annoyed as it was in the middle of the match and I took away, so I actually fast forward. I got through most of the match of the promo with Tiffany, and I saw Greta, and then I fast forwarded and then realized I went too far, so I went back. Then I went too far again, so I went forward again and missed something. And then eventually I just settled on to the beginning of the match, and that's where I went from there.
That you probably made the best decision doing that. All right, so then that takes us to the rest of this match. And I'll admit, man, Ocasio is an interesting fella. Like, again, why is he getting this title match? I don't think he's got the win-loss record to have deserved this match. Like, I wish there would have been just at least like a warm-up match, a tune-up match, an opportunity for him. He comes in so cold and hot because, like, we'll see Ocasio for a taping, and then we won't see him again for a while, and then he'll come back in, and we'll see him, and we'll he's not consistently there. So him getting this title match, kind of, I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like them just bringing in a face to have him challenge for the title. But it was a pretty good match, and again, I'm going to give Ocasio most of the credit because I'm not a huge fan of Brian Idol. I saw a few things in the ring that he looked sloppy, including that moonsault where he hopped over Ocasio to hit the moonsault, and he just gingerly kind of jogged in, and there was no sense of urgency. And if you're not comfortable or confident enough in your skill set to do a move at this day at this stage in the game for Brian Idol, he shouldn't be doing those moves. We've seen him; he broke his clavicle trying to do a suicide dive onto Silas Mason earlier in the year. If he has any hesitation on doing a leaping moonsault, then by God, don't do the leaping moonsault. And then another move that kind of blew me away, and I guess he just said the hell with CTE, was when Ocasio just dove at Idol, just head first, dove right into him. That was kind of cool to see, but also I feel like, man, that's so dangerous. Like, please don't die. But the match itself, I felt like was okay. Not the best episode of Power I've ever seen, but I felt like that was a pretty decent match. Jaden, what did you think of this match? Tell me your thoughts on it.
I didn't hate it as much as you, but I also didn't find it that great. I do like Ocasio and see there's potential there. I also don't mind for the TV title that somebody randomly gets a match, because that's kind of what the TV title is. It's supposed to be a television main event. It doesn't have to be somebody to build it, because technically the TV title should be defended on every time there's a television show.
Yeah.
Which is another reason I think they should get rid of that stupid 7 and get a title shot thing too. But so I don't mind it as much for the TV title. I wish, honestly, not Brian Idol, Ocasio should be on TV getting a couple wins, because he's a guy who can be useful and he's got a good look. And obviously it was a hometown thing because he's from that area. But I didn't dislike the match. It was a good C at best. It wasn't anything embarrassing. I can understand that moonsault thing, but it wasn't anything embarrassing, but it wasn't like great either. It was just kind of there.
I think that's a fair analysis. DK, what did you think about this one?
Wow, that's hard. I think if I had just watched the match from beginning to end, my first thought was, wow, this is going a little bit long. Maybe they should put 6:05 back. My thought to the actual match itself, my next thought when it came to the match is, wow, this is on a signature live event.
Yeah.
This should have been a taping style match. I mean, if you're going to defend the TV title on signature live event, defend it against that's where you're going to defend it against somebody who's a hardy challenger, so to speak.
Yeah.
And the match was okay. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. It was okay. I honestly did think it was a little bit long. And I kind of felt like I kind of felt like it was the balance of the show. You know, you had a really good first match. You had a really bad tag team scramble. You had a couple of good promos. You had a couple of bad segments. And then you had this kind of middle of the road match to end it. And so it's like the show was a C, the match was a C. They've done better, they've done worse. Let's see what they do next week. I mean, this wouldn't drive me away from watching it if this was the first time I'd ever watched the show.
I think I agree with you on that. Jaden, what did you think of it?
I think some of the segments would have driven me away from watching it, but the matches themselves, even the 4-way, which was a bit of a cluster, it wasn't horrendous. And at least Acacia looks like a star. They did have some people with a little bit of star power out there too. I mean, obviously Rich Swann and Mondo and the Colognes and Tiffany Nieves was a little bit. I think she was also part of that documentary they had on Netflix for the OVW. So I think it was fine. It was a good C plus. Maybe not C plus. I'll give it a straight C.
I think that's a fair grade, and I think that's where I would put it too.
Yeah, just what it is. It was fine, but NWA needs to be doing better than fine right now.
What I find very interesting is typically I'm the one that has more positive about the NWA show, and usually you guys are more, I don't want to say pessimistic, but I usually highlight the positives a little bit more and get and push behind those. And this week I feel like you guys are celebrating the show a little bit more than I would have. So I look at us being evolving and changing how we look at things. You guys are a little bit positive, and I'm a little bit more negative.
It is indicative, though, of the NWA's taping style when it comes to these signature live events. They don't tape them like 5 separate episodes. They tape it as a signature live event, so you get some matches in the beginning that aren't necessarily what you're going to want to see. And then later you get all the matches you may really want to see, but you have to wait 4 weeks for it.
Yeah.
I think personally they changed the schedule around and did things differently. And maybe the big world title match should be the 5th week all the time, but they should always have something built in between. So there's a match that's okay, and then a match that's a high-flying, exciting match for the opener, and then a big match at the end. So that way it's better spread out, and you don't have to get a lot of schlag early to get to stuff you really want to see later.
So that's an interesting point. Like, because I was thinking, like, why did we put Alex Taylor and Rich Swann on last, considering that it's the world junior heavyweight title? It almost feels like the divisions, like the world's junior heavyweight title or the women's world title, very rarely do they main event the show when you have a national title or a TV title. That seems to take precedent over the other world titles, which that kind of confuses me. DK, why do you think they do it like that?
Well, I mean, look, even back in the day, Crockett was known to open some of his events with like the World Tag Team Championship or whatever. And that's normally where a match that they felt was going to be exciting. And so you kind of want to get the crowd going, get the crowd into it. So you kind of bring in that exciting match. And if it's a title match, that just has that much more for it. The problem is you kind of need to follow that up. And like Jaden said, I think if you're just watching a signature live event straight, the next couple of matches would make sense, but they don't make sense in a TV taping schedule. And so Again, this is when I go back to the NWA needs to figure out what power is.
Yeah. DK, you went quiet again.
The worlds. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Power needs an identity because, Jaden pointed out that, the good, exciting matches now aren't going to be till the end of this thing. But it seems like at the TV tapings, it's almost the reverse. It's like by the time they get to the end of the TV taping, they have matches nobody cares about. And so again, what are you? What is power? And pick. Power either is an arena show or it's a studio show.
And I honestly don't think they know what they want to make it.
Yeah, well, they don't. Well, whenever they got the idea of not doing pay-per-views but doing everything as TV taping, they kind of lost they lost their path.
Yeah.
And and trust me, this was not part of the 20-year plan to do it this way. And so, but that's the thing. What are you? What is the show supposed to be? Make it something and keep it that. And then it's a little more settled. Are you an arena show that features competitive matches? Are you a studio show that features primarily enhancement matches with the occasional mid-card competitive match, primarily for the TV title or maybe one of the other, I hate to use the word lesser championships, but, women's tag team championship.
Yeah.
Men's TV, women's TV, maybe the United States tag team championship, where the other world champions, you might see them, you might occasionally see them in an enhancement match, but they're mainly there to talk to you.
Let me talk to you.
Yeah. But if you're not going to do independent shows outside of that, then, you probably need to be a competitive show so you can see the world title and the world title can get defended.
Yeah.
That type of thing. So who are they? What are they? And figure it out, somebody.
This would be a good time to have NWA USA maybe be the TV tapings and NWA Power be the main matches. And again, format it better so you actually have every TV has a main event you want to see, or put maybe the championships like on somebody that will push the brand over better than say Brian Idol. Again, I don't dislike him like everybody else, but the TV title could be put on somebody who's a nice young rising star that has a bit of a buzz to him, and maybe get something out of that and use that as a big main event.
I have an idea, but we'll save it for another time because I know we have talked about Power longer than we wanted to, and we still have results for Saul win. So let's get to those. Wait, hold on, because this is what I do now. So that was Power. And now it's trash. Okay, so let's get to the results from NWA Saul Win Part 3, which was the event that took place on October the 17th in Center Stage in Atlanta, Georgia. We had our friend Chris Henry in the house. He did provide results while wearing his Alliance Blog t-shirt. You could get yours too. Yeah, no, I didn't get a picture of him wearing the shirt, so maybe next time. But you can support the show and get your own shirt just by clicking that QR code in the corner, the one that's above DKM's face, not the one that's in the other corner. Because anyways, you could help support the live stream and have a cool, stylish shirt that shows that you are part of a community, part of something bigger, something better. You are part of the Alliance, and you could represent that shirt. And represent the Alliance. All right, now I want to get to real quick in the chat. Noob says NWA needs to get present day right now. I think that's what we're going to see, Noob, because don't think there's any more matches that are filmed will be filmed before 2026, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But let's talk about the results for Saul Win, because again, it was a big night. A lot of some faces returned to the NWA, and they crowned a couple of new champions. So a new champion. We'll talk about it. So, of course, one of the matches that we did not have on the card was Hollywood Haley J making her return, and she took on and defeated Serena Vale in the opening match of the show. So we can't really comment on that one because we weren't there to see it, but pretty cool that Hollywood is back. You know, she does double duty between triple duty, really, working Ohio Valley and working Women of Wrestling and appearing in the NWA. Again, she could be like an ambassador that gets the WOW talent in the NWA and vice versa. So I'm all for Hollywood Haley J. Are you guys happy to see her back in the NWA?
PK?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan in the way that a lot of other people are. I enjoy watching her work, so I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing this match, but I can't say that, you know, I just think it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, and that's fair. Like, I don't think I was just asking if you're happy to see her back in the NWA.
I mean, I think it's good for her. The NWA needs all the talent it can get, and she's talented, so yes.
She's also got charisma and a little bit of star presence to her.
Yeah.
So I think that matters more than anything else. And a little bit of name. Again, she was in that documentary, and the wrestlers on Netflix. I actually recommend going back and watch it, by the way. It was a good documentary. It's probably the best wrestling on Netflix right now.
I still haven't watched it, so maybe I should.
But yeah, I enjoy. I think it's going to be a good idea because she's got some star power. She's got some presence to her. She's got some charisma, and it's a positive in the NWA, in my opinion. She could make good TV. I
agree. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest Hollywood Haley J fan, but I'm a big fan of her coming back to the NWA. The second match,
make a good TV champion.
She would. In a rivalry between her and Tiffany Nieves. I mean, they started it last year. I wouldn't mind if that continued for that TV title.
Started OVW, if you really want to be technical.
That's fair. Carl Anderson and Doc Galloway, the Good Brothers, made their NWA debut, taking on the veteran Jack Vaughn and Dalton McKenzie. I believe they called them the Hard Way. So we were way off on our predictions. At least Jake Howe was, because I saw them getting a title shot at the tag titles and winning the tag titles. I was incorrect on that one, but they did win their match. And DKM, you were wrong with me, but we both did agree that the Good Brothers would win. So we get partial credit for that one. I feel like that's going to be a good match. It was good to see Jack Vaughn back in the NWA. I heard about his schedule where he was supposed to be in Europe and his flight got delayed, so he missed a connection. So he missed a show that he was booked for, and it was in his own pocket out in the UK, was able to get another date lined up, and then got back to the US to be a part of this event. So good for Jack Vaughn. Sorry that his European tour got messed up, but I'm glad that he got to be back in the NWA again. DK, I know. Well, actually, Jaden, I know you're a big Jack Vaughn guy.
Yeah, even if he doesn't apparently get back to Dr. Zirconium about being booked, I'm still a Jack Vaughn guy. And this is where I think is smart for the NWA, because now you have some star power with Jack Gallows and Carl Anderson, you know, TNA, AEW, WWE, and then you got somebody with a little bit of internet buzz with Jack Vaughn. So anybody coming in now, this is the first. Let's just say this is the first match or the first taping or the first of this TV taping that broadcast. Haley J's got some name value and a look and some charisma. You got some name value in the Good Brothers, and you got somebody with a little bit of internet buzz with Jack Vaughn. People are going to pay attention to that. It's a better way, I think. The way they did this particular TV taping or signature live event, I mean, was a little more than what I was saying about trying to distribute it out a little bit and making it more important all the way through.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Real quick, Lou Thez says the sun never sets on the Alliance, worldwide and all the way live. Ric Flair. I think that should go on a T-shirt at some point. All right, getting back to some more of the results. The next matchup was the complete Matt Cardona defeated Daisy Kill. Going back to our pre-show predictions, this is one that Jaden got correct and DK and I mispredicted because DK and I thought that Daisy Kill would get the victory, but nay, said Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona wins the match, and I feel like I don't know what happened because we just have the results. We don't have like a lot of details, but I feel like that's going to be a fun match to watch when it does make TV. DK, what do you think?
Well, I think part of the reason I missed it was because I had no prediction for what would happen later in the night.
Sure.
But, yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see that. If Cardona was going to go over, I would rather he face somebody else. The NWA needs to build people, which is something Billy seems not to understand. He and Tony Khan, live in a world where building people seems to be unimportant. They need to do more with Daisy Kill, and they need to do. They need to build him. So I'll be interested in seeing this match, and I'm going to hope that maybe there was some kind of shenanigans.
Okay. We do know that, real quick. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say it. We know during this match, there was some jaw jockeying going between Billy Corgan and Matt Cardona, and apparently Smalls was involved with it too. And somehow, some way, Matt Cardona was able to finagle a future title match out of that jaw jacking with the owner of the NWA. And Jaden, I want to ask you, does that match between Kill and Cardona, does that sound like something you would be interested in watching when it does make it to the Roku?
Again, we don't know what happened because the results weren't very detailed.
Yeah.
But let's say that Daisy Kill had a really competitive match against the former NWA World Heavyweight Champion and WWE Superstar and Indie God.
Yeah.
Then Daisy Kill could have came out stronger in the long run. And again, this is where I'm saying, like, now this first third of the taping is a lot more important than it usually is. And you got somebody with star power. And if Daisy Kill comes out looking good, even when it's lost, then it could still elevate him. And the right person, in my opinion, won this match because they need to build him up to a world championship match. And it looks like that's going to happen with no spoiler.
Yeah.
With no Don Jardine. And no white noise machine like DK has in the background.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Kerry Morton defeating Damian Fenrir. Of course, you two both correctly predicted that Kerry Morton, who was much aligned, he needed this victory, and he got it. I was thinking that Fenrir might be on to a new, something new with Fenrir as a up-and-comer. I thought maybe we'd get an opportunity to see him shine. That did not happen. I still think that's going to be an excellent match once it does make its way to TV. Is there anything you guys would like to add to that?
It's going to be possibly a good high-flying opening match for a card that gets the fans excited. And again, set the way that doing the TV looks like they are redoing things better. Also, by the way, did I also not predict that the Good Brothers were going to be defending against not getting a world title shot? They were going to be against a mystery tag team. So I kind of got that right, even though the tag team was wrong. I thought it would have been the Cologne.
Yeah, 100%. Yes. I don't think you said who they would face.
I thought maybe the Clones because that's all we didn't mention yet, but I forgot about Jack One and his partner.
Yeah, no, you correctly said that they would not be facing the Immortals for the tag titles. That's where you get partial credit, and then that's it for now.
Billy, if you're stealing from me listening to this podcast, I want some payoff for it.
He wants some payola. Next up, we have El Dragon Nihan over Big Strong Mims. El Dragon Nihan made his debut last week on Power, challenging for Tom Latimer's 10 pounds of gold. This match wasn't advertised. We know that El Dragon Nihan was also at the 77 anniversary show. He was Max the Impaler's final match within the NWA. So apparently they're pushing this guy. He got the victory over Mims. There's not a whole lot to say about that because that wasn't an advertised matchup. Then the next match that was on the card was the 6-man tag casket match. This one sounds like a giant cluster F if I ever heard one. And there's a couple of those on this event. But we'll go to we predicted correctly that the Lost would win. Jaden and Jay both picked the Lost, and DK picked the Stevens family. Stevens was the one that actually got shoved into the casket, so it was a victory for the Lost. Our good friend Alex Misery, great job on the W. Other than that, I don't think there's a lot to talk about on that match.
Now, we know who his partners were?
Well, it was Aaron Stevens and Carson Drake and their their partner, whose name I didn't catch. And then the Lost, I believe it was
Misery and the blue-haired guy, and was it Crazy Steve?
I don't think it was Crazy Steve.
Hope it wasn't Gags.
I think it was Gags.
Lockjaw was one of them. I don't remember who the other one was.
Who's Lockjaw?
He was the one guy that was Steve's partner, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And he was also a Transformer bounty hunter.
Yes, I remember that, Lockjaw. King Sean Mega points out that Mims has been taking a lot of L's lately. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're going to do with Mims. I feel like there's a lot of compelling stories to be saying, but we're not seeing them right now with Mims, and that's okay. Maybe they're taking time to repackage him and do something different with him. I don't know. Put him in a tag team with somebody else. I don't know.
Put a mask on him and maybe Pope and make them a tag team.
Oh my God! Let's not give them any more bad ideas. The next match was for the NWA National Championship. Mike Mondo, who is your national champion, spoiler alert, he won it at 77. He defended against Wrecking Ball Legursky and defeated the big man from Northeast. And we, on that prediction, we all agreed that Mondo was going to win that match. We were in concert on that one, so good for us to see the greatness that is Mike Mondo. Jaden, I know that you have seen Wrecking Ball Legursky up close and personal outside of the NWA. What do you think a match between Mondo and Wrecking Ball is going to look like?
I know that I'm a physical specimen of impressive proportions, but Wrecking Ball's big. And he's a big boy. It reminds me a lot of Bam Bam Bigelow. And Mondo is shorter, but probably just as tall as he is wide with all those big muscles of his. And I actually think this match was great. I think it's a good win for Mondo. I think Mondo is the best former WWE cast-off that they brought and reinvented and actually are doing something well with and making him a bigger deal, in my opinion, and able to showcase his talent and his prescriptions better here than he has in any place else he's worked in a long time, maybe since the OVW. So I think this is great, and I can't wait to see this match personally. And I mentioned Wrecking Ball's big.
Wrecking Ball is big. DK, did you have any 2 cents you want to throw on this one?
Hello?
Can you hear me,
What's
DK?
your 2 cents, DK?
Okay, there we go. I need to get a new cable, apparently. What was the question? Mondo versus Wrecking Ball?
Yes.
Were you happy that Mondo won? Do you want to see the match?
Yeah. Oh, yes, I want to see the match. And yes, I'm happy that Mondo won in the sense that it's, good for some championship stability and all Mims was champion for a long time, but it didn't seem like he did. He was not put in the position to elevate the title. And so hopefully this is something that will work. Man, if Mondo was 6 inches taller, the world would be his.
Ooh. That's a pretty good compliment. The next matchup, we had the Slime Balls defending the NWA US Tag Team Championship. We didn't know the Slime Balls won the US Tag titles. Apparently, that happened at the Tampa TV tapings, or maybe it happened at an Exodus Pro show. No one really seems to know, but we didn't get PB Smooth and EC3. Nay, EC3 was sidelined, holding a crutch, actually, and Cristiano Argentino subbed in for EC3. And post-match, EC3 hit Argentino with the cane, and PB Smooth obliterated him after the match. Again, we didn't know that this was going to be a title match, but Jaden and Jay both said that the Slime Balls would walk away the winners. DK had put his money on the Holy Grail. However, I feel like he should get a mulligan because it wasn't EC3 in that match. It was Cristiano Argentino. So we'll go ahead and give that a wash. But that was for the U.S. tag title. So successful tag title defense for the Slime Balls. And is there anything you guys would like to add to that?
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't Aaron Stevens our manager?
Yes. Which we kind of saw that this week on Power. It seems like he's inherited the Slime Balls through his relationship with Carson Drake.
Yeah, but last week on Power, Billy Corgan says that he didn't.
Yeah, it's so, the consistencies and the storytelling. Hell, even before the match, Stevens said that, why do you even hang out with those guys? And I think Drake said they're like a puppy or something like that. It was just kind of random with an emphasis on the dumb. But that brings us to – or wait, DK, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I mean, not specifically, just, you gave me the mulligan on the thing. It's like, well, sure, my decision probably would have been different if someone had said, oh, by the way, the Slime Balls have recently won the U.S. Tag Team Championship.
Yeah, we didn't know.
And, oh, by the way, it's not going to be Aaron Stevens. And, by the way, whoever it is somebody that I don't know, and they're going to turn on them. It's just a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
I don't know what I think about all of it. And by the way, the interesting thing about all this is that on the territories, like we talked about, on the territories, Stevens has been managing Slime Balls and Carson Drake for months.
Yeah.
So this seems to be the first time that they're like, why they have to do their own storyline, I have no earthly idea. But I guess they're trying to put something in sync with what's been going on in the territories.
That's yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell what they're even trying to do. It's so disconnected from Power to the territories, and then even from when they film Power to when it's presented. There's such a huge disconnect, and it kind of makes it hard to follow what they're trying to do because it's not succinct. It's not, the connective tissue isn't there. 1 week you have you literally had Carson Drake telling Aaron Stevens no, he didn't want him as a manager, and the next week he's managing him. It's like, wait, who's editing this shit? Like, what are we doing?
It's probably the owner of the video game store.
Yeah. If Alex Taylor was 6 inches taller, he would be a multi-world heavyweight champion. I don't know if I disagree with that. I feel like Taylor is like the workhorse of the Southern Six. I'd always thought he was the guy that was supposed to go in and do the job, but really he's the one that's had the most success since they formed the Southern Six. He's the U.S. Tag Champion, and he's the World Junior Heavyweight Champion. And
I know.
He means as of now, according to canon, because we know how, obviously, that somebody's going to be more successful as a member of the Southern Six soon.
Yes, Jaden was reading what I was picking up, what I was putting down over there.
I don't.
You don't?
Well, I'm thinking about the statement. If Alex Taylor was 6 inches taller, would he be multi-time world champion? And
A foot taller, yes.
well, yeah, I was going to say, first of all, it'll probably be more like a foot than 6 inches. The second thing is Taylor doesn't have the intangible that Thrillbilly has.
No, you're correct on that. I agree.
Again, I think Mondo's not the best on the stick, but he's got the look, and right now he has the intensity.
Sometimes the intensity is better than the promo. If you've got the right intensity, I mean, Goldberg was a perfect example of that. No promo, but the intensity was there, and that was what was contagious about Goldberg. And I see that with Mondo similarly. I'm sorry, that was your time.
No, but you said exactly what I was going to say, so it worked perfectly. Yeah, Mondo has an intensity and a look, and I'm not sure all his vitamins would pass inspection, but he has a charisma to him, a natural charisma to him that doesn't necessarily come across on the stick. But I think Alex Taylor would be a good top wrestler. I don't know that he'd ever be the guy. I mean, would he get a run with a world title at some point if you were a bigger man? Maybe. But yeah, he's not Thrillbilly. In fact, none of the Southern Six are, except for Thrillbilly. I mean, it's there's really one guy and then two others who are there, part of the group.
Real quick, shout out to Wiccan, who is following us on TikTok. Wiccan, this is the same account, but I really appreciate the goats that you just sent over. Thank you so much for supporting the live stream. But no, this is the same account. I never unfollowed you, so maybe something. I've heard TikTok can be glitchy like that, sometimes unfollow people, so I don't know.
And also, thank you for traveling the Witch's Road and making Agatha your
Witch's Row.
Agatha your familiar.
That was such a good show. I like that one so much. All right. So for more results, then we had Hammerstone versus Trevor Murdoch. Now, I thought that Trevor Murdoch needed this victory more than Hammerstone did, especially considering the fact that Hammerstone is seemingly back with MLW, which I would imagine is going to dominate a lot of his booking. But, Nene says Billy Corgan in the National Wrestling Alliance. You guys were correct. DK and Jaden both correctly predicted that Hammerstone would defeat the former two-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion, former tag team champion, former national champion in Trevor Murdoch. So kudos to both you guys for being correct in that prediction. It's still a match that I can't wait to see. I hope that goes on earlier than later on the next season of Power, because that's one that's going to be killer.
Yes.
Anything you want to add, DK?
Only last I heard, Hammerstone still does not have a contract with anybody.
Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with being a freelancer.
No, so I'm just saying, even if he's doing a lot of wrestling for the MLW, there's nothing there that says he's a contracted, MLW worker.
Is that a smart business decision for him, you think, to keep that free agent status available in case he wants or someone comes knocking on his door, like AEW or the WWE?
There's a yes and no answer to that. The yes is because if you're trying to get signed elsewhere, it's better not to have the commitment and say, well, it's going to be 6 months before I can get there. The no is if you're not hooked up under some kind of contract for a certain amount of time, they don't mind giving you wins, but you're never going to win the big one, so to speak.
Right.
So Hammerstone challenge for the world title in MLW, but he's not going to win the world title in MLW. And he might challenge for the world title in the NWA, but he may not win the world title in the NWA if he's not willing to sign some kind of contract for while he's champion, at least.
That's to be expected, I think. All right, let's get to the next match, which is this was the JCP versus KFW match. The Country Gents taking on Pretty Empowered, and that's a match I'm not interested in watching really at all. I think I said that the Sisters would win, and I think you guys both predicted that it would end in a some sort of screw job. We were all wrong. The Country Gents walk away the victors in the territory wars, and I hope this is the end of it. I really don't understand why we have territories feuding with one another. I don't remember Don Owen bringing a brigade of tag team wrestlers to go to Jim Crockett Promotions and have a battle of who's the best territory in the NWA. I don't think that's smart business. I think that it should be a unified. It's an alliance, not a independent territory that's doesn't benefit off of the NWA name as a whole being good. So I guess what I'm saying is I think it's just a bad business decision.
Agreed.
If I remember correctly, Jaden and I's actual prediction was we didn't give a.
Yeah, and I think that's actually what you did say, but nevertheless, shout out to Sweet Vanilla who liked the live over on TikTok. Appreciate the love from a love.
Did you get a Scentsy sticker or something?
No.
Reward like that?
I might get a smoochy later. Next up was the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship match. Slade with Aaron Stevens taking on Alex Taylor. Not just taking on Alex Taylor, but taking his title. Alex Taylor has just surpassed real recently Tiger Mask #4 for the 10th longest reigning NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship in the modern history. So props to Alex Taylor for the run that he had as Junior Heavyweight Champion. I felt like he did a great job of carrying the title. He did take the title to the United Kingdom. He took the title all over, the territory system, and he was great. But much like King Sean Mega said on our TikTok chat, Slade deserved it. Slade is the guy who I feel like is the future of this brand. I was on a podcast earlier today with our friends over at Hitting the Turnbuckle, and the host Adam says that he believes that Slade is a future NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. I think you'd both agree with that, yes or no?
I don't know about a future heavyweight champion, but I could see the TV title. I could even see the national championship on him, and as a junior heavyweight, and maybe the U.S. and the world tag team in the future too, because him and Mundo were a great tag team. The only thing I don't like about them both winning singles golds that they deserve, and it's awesome, is they're no longer a tag team. If only we can clone them and have them, put them under masks and call them something else. Call them the Stinger Brothers.
The Stinger Brothers. Never mind. Never mind. Not going to say what I was going to say. Double D says he's officially putting his name in the hat for a junior heavyweight #1 contenders match. Give me about another week, and I might be there too. Double D. So obviously, I think we're all excited to see this match. Is there anything that either one of you gentlemen would like to add to that?
Yes, when it airs, there's a good chance, if I did it right, you may have a interview with the new World Junior Heavyweight Champion.
That would be amazing, because he's somebody that we've been wanting to talk to him for a while, whether it be with the Alliance guys or just with on the Alliance blog. I would love to have a conversation with Slade, because he is an exciting talent, and like you said, the world is kind of his oyster. I feel like he has potential to wear many hats for the National Wrestling Alliance, not just in the junior heavyweight division. DK, is there anything you want to add?
Yes.
Let's hear it.
I think that it's excellent to have their junior heavyweight title in such a skilled individual. And somebody who, despite the way he'd been booked in matches with Smalls and other kind of stupid things, that he's managed to,
You meant Rolando, by the way, but go ahead.
Smalls too, wasn't he?
No, he wrestled Smalls.
Oh shoot, you're right. I corrections and retractions.
So anyway, and I'm glad Rolando's gone and he's free of that. And maybe this is going to be one good thing if Stevens managing him. I don't even think we've seen a fraction of his skill in the NWA based on some of the things I've watched of his work outside the NWA. So I'm very excited to see this young, professional, skilled man hold the world junior heavyweight title. And
an accomplished amateur wrestler, DK.
Yes. And I hope that he will be able to I hope that the NWA will book him in a way that helps get both him and the title over.
The other part to that too is our friend Sean Mega said the junior heavyweight has had the best champions during the Billy era. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, but we should move on because we are starting to run out of time. It's already
Gary Morton, I would agree.
Damn. Next up, we have the NWA Women's Tag Team Championship match. Apparently, the titles at some point are declared vacant, or if maybe that's not the right term, maybe they were just being held up. But TVMA, Tiffany Rossi Tiffany Nieves and Valentina Rossi defeat the Hex, the former tag team champions, to become two-time champions. Again, I think that's cool and all, and I'm excited that TVMA retained their titles. There was some shenanigans. We learned that Greta, that Tiffany Nieves met this week on Power, did play a slight role in the matchup. And when we go to the predictions, J-Cal said, and J-Cal and DK both thought that the Hex were going to win the titles. Jaden predicted TVMA. Again, I throw a mulligan in there because we didn't know the belts were held up. But, Jaden has been getting a lot of these right tonight. So
again, they're stealing my booking ideas there, Billy. I'm glad. Keep stealing them, honestly. I want the money, but you can take them. You can take all the credit.
Next up, we have
real quick.
Yes,
I didn't know Greta Thunberg was getting into professional wrestling.
It's not Greta Thunberg. That takes us to the World TV title match with Brian Idol defending that TV title against Rich Swann. I'm sure it was a no time limit, as that's kind of been the thing for Brian Idol since becoming champion. I was the sole person who thought Rich Swann might shock the world becoming the TV champion. Both of you two knew better and predicted that Brian Idol, the wooden laconic pro wrestler, would retain that championship. You guys were right. I was wrong. I eat crow. Let's move on if that's okay with you guys.
Somebody's bitter.
I'm not bitter. You guys were just better. Real quick, Double D says, I love Kerry Morton, and if he can lose those love handles, he'll move up the card. I think I agree with you, Double D. I feel like, as someone who is in the gym right now, I don't have the perfect body, but I know that if you, watch what you're eating and lift more weight than you weigh, you tend to have nice results and your body looks nicer. Anyways,
just have Kerry work out with Mundo and do his diet.
Yeah, that's all. Next up, we have the Immortals defending the tag team titles against Blunt Force Trauma. And you guys, I was wrong. Oh, we just lost DK. He said good night, guys. When it came to that tag title match, I thought that the Good Brothers would be in the picture, so I'm already out. DKM also thought the Good Brothers would be in the picture. He is out. Jaden predicted Blunt Force Trauma would be the opponent. Oh, actually, no, I apologize. I take that all back. Jaden and DK both predicted correctly that the Immortals would retain the tag titles. So Jaden gets full credit. DK gets partial credit because the titles, the challengers were the ones that were advertised. All right.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Because they thought they did it. You thought they once again switched the tag match. That's what you guys thought.
Yeah,
'Cause they did
well,
it before.
they did do it before, so why wouldn't they do it again? That takes us to the women's title match: Natalia Markova against Shotzi Blackheart. I got to be honest, I don't think anyone thought that Shotzi was going to win this match because Markova had absolutely deserved this title for quite some time, and it was her first televised defense. And the entirety of the Alliance guys, as well as Millennial Noob in the chat, predicted that Markova would be successful in her title defense, her first title defense. So we were all correct there. Let's
I
move
heard
on.
a rumor that Noob is a fan of Markova too.
Yeah, I think I've heard that one too. I think Noob is a fan of Markova. And then that takes us to the main event. It was scheduled to be a no disqualification match, and the competitors in that match were going to be Tom Latimer challenging Thrillbilly Silas Mason for that World's Heavyweight Championship match, or the World's Heavyweight Championship. However, apparently Tom Latimer was attacked before the match, leaving him unable to compete. And in the no disqualification match, Cardona used his recently acquired title match challenge to challenge Thrillbilly Silas Mason. So this match went from being a Tom versus Thrillbilly rematch to Thrillbilly Silas Mason defending the 10 pounds of gold against former champion Matt Cardona, who will let you know that he never actually lost that title. However, it was a no DQ match. Thrillbilly Silas Mason got the victory, but there was a lot of shenanigans going on. And apparently, a post-match, Tom Latimer attacked Silas Mason, which could potentially be setting up a heel turn. And I do believe that that's going to lead to some shenanigans going in the NWA down the road. So and then I'm sorry for the main event prediction. We all believed that Silas Mason was going to walk out as champion. However, they did swerve us on the title match. So that was Saw Win Part 3. I feel like that was an excellent card. Obviously, we don't know how everything is going to look on television. Some of the photos that we saw, some of the live video that, again, Chris Henry took in attendance made the event look very interesting and very fun. I can't wait to see it. And I think it's going to be a good show when it does premiere on Roku, like sometime in January.
I mean, this year, jeez.
But I think that's going to do it for us this week, guys. I do appreciate the heck out of everyone who sat around watching us talk about the NWA for the past 2 hours. We will be back here next Thursday to do the same thing. It'll be on All Hallows Eve, so that'll be fun. You guys want to wear costumes?
Yes, I will. I'll have the best costume that this broadcast has ever seen.
All right,
and it just won't be a mask either.
Awesome. So for DKM and for Jaden, my name is. What's that?
No, real quick plugs or nothing.
Oh well, sure, yeah, sure. Hit the plugs. Hit them.
Real quick, Dog's going to be at the South Jersey Geek Fest this Saturday. We're going to have a table there. And so come meet us at the South Jersey Geek Fest. There's a lot of vendors there and cool stuff and a Beyblade tournament and some video game tournaments and a bunch of other stuff. But come see us at the Dog Pro Wrestling table. Vinny the Fixer and Silver Lobo will be there doing autographs. And Vinny will probably be grumpy because he doesn't like people anymore. And also, congratulations to Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators. They just joined the Chamber of Commerce of South Jersey and paying dividends already, it seems like. So congrats to Dog to being a member of the Chamber of Commerce and adding something else to send out when they send out all those emails out to people to try to get Dog Pro Wrestling on events.
That's very cool, and I'm very excited to see what happens next for you guys. But like I said, DK just had to bounce, so he had a he had a little issue over on his side, so he'll be gone for the night. But Double D likes my sometime in January. But that's going to do it for us, guys. Thanks again for watching. And until next time, we'll see you at the matches. Good night now. Of course. Why would it work? Why would it ever work?
Thank you for joining the Alliance Guys podcast, a presentation of alliance-wrestling.com. Would you like to do other things that I forget the rest of this thing, even though I heard it 1,000 times? Well, you can do so. And also buy some Dubby and buy some t-shirts and support us. And we'll see you at the matches.